Welcome to DeputyTribe.com. Let's talk about Homeschool Complete. Welcome to DeputyTribe.com. I am Cassie Deputy, and today we're going to be reviewing Homeschool Complete. Homeschool Complete is an all-inclusive curriculum that has very detailed lessons. They are unit study oriented, meaning all the topics and all your subjects revolve around a singular theme. They're very engaging and they have many different activities. So what we reviewed was the unit study for U.S. symbols for grade 2. Now, this packet was 48 pages long, or 46 pages long, and it was meant to be used over the course of 1 week. So it has 4 lessons. I'm going to kind of break down each lesson for you guys and kind of show you how this works and how we used it. So basically, it starts with your cover here, and you need to get the accompanying library books. We could not get one of the recommended books at our library system. So we go to the first page here, U.S. symbols. Here's your table of contents. What's going to be in here? Here's the introduction, which kind of talks a little bit about the company and what this packet includes. Here we have the teaching procedure, where they encourage you to be very positive to your child. And here's a master list of all the skills that you're going to go over in this unit study. So for language arts, they break it down: language arts, mathematics, social studies, science, and fine arts, physical development and fitness, character, and Bible study. So they will be writing in their journal, learning new sight words, conjunctions, recognizing symbols. I mean, look at this list of things that they go over in just these 4 weeks. It's pretty impressive. Mathematics includes defining the date. You go over your calendar every day, creating patterns, counting by 2s, 5s, 1s, 10s, hundreds, counting backwards. We talk a lot about fractions in this and making a dozen, following a recipe, things like that. Social studies was phenomenal. We learned about the Pledge of Allegiance. We recited our address. We learned about 4 U.S. symbols, which I'm going to go over. We made observations about the weather. We talked about how the elements affect copper. That was fun. There's an art project. There's music things. You can study different patriotic songs that we discuss. There's many different physical activities that they include. And the character and development study in this was a little bit less, I think, than it might be in their other things. What we're really focused on was America and the ideals of being an American, which I really liked. So then it gives you a master list of materials that you'll need. These are basically just things you have around the house: index cards, pencils, a journal, paper clips, rubber bands, Here's the literature that's recommended. Here's the ones that are included in the study, and here's additional literature. And I'm telling you what, the books that they picked for this segment could not have been more of a blessing. Like, I am going to go get all these additional literatures, and we're going to read them and continuing studying U.S. symbols, because these books, I had no idea these books existed, and they are phenomenal. And we'll go over those in a little bit. And now I'm getting this all mixed up. So that's basically the introduction part of this study. It comes with a calendar, because every day you're going to be going over your calendar with the kids, so it's blank. We just made copies and filled it in, because we did this over February, and then we went into March a little bit, so we had to do 2 of these. They give you this just as a reference. Every day you're going to do a specific routine, and you're going to use these guys. So I'll lay these out here while I talk about that. So let me grab my lesson 1. So this was meant to be done over the course of a week, 4 days, okay? We used it a little bit different. Here's what we did. we did lesson 1 over the course of a whole week. So we took bits and pieces of lesson 1 and split them over 4 days. I wanted to try that, and I wanted to see how it could be utilized in our group schooling. So that's what I did. So here at the beginning of each lesson, it tells you the skills you're going to learn in that lesson. It tells you the materials you're going to use, and then it goes through your daily routine, okay? So in every day, you're going over the calendar. Or first you're going over the pledges. So the pledge to the Bible, the pledge to the Christian flag, the pledge to the American flag. I personally think it would be a fantastic idea for homeschool to complete, to include a piece of paper that has those flags on them that you can hang on the wall. We actually created one. There it is. That's our civics wall over there. So that made it a little bit easier to have a reference to where those flags were. So you do the pledges every day, and they're typed out word by word if you don't know them. You're going to go over your calendar every day. You're going to talk about yesterday, today, tomorrow, that kind of thing. I loved the songs. So every day you sing about, say the days of the week or sing them to the tune of Oh My Darling. There are 7 days, there are 7 days, there are 7 days in a week. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That was really fun. Then you do the months. January, February, March, and April, May, June, June, July, and August, okay? And then you do, and these directions, I mean, look at these directions. These are fantastically detailed. Like, I didn't have any issue figuring out what they were talking about. These are clear, concise, laid out. I mean, I loved these. Then we sang our address to Old MacDonald. The example they give is, Susan Parker is my name, and this is my address. Na 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 na. Right? Okay, so that was fun. Then every day we recite a song, poem, or Bible verse. We are memorizing the preamble of the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and the quote that's on the front of National Archives. So we did that for our memory work. And then you are to have them daily journal. Okay, so that was fun. And then we read our weekly chapter book, which was this. So you're supposed to read aloud about 2 chapters a day to get through this. It's a mystery book by Ron Roy. He's the guy who also does the A to Z mysteries. My kids were so enthusiastic about this book because they have read all of Ron Roy's books. We didn't even know he created this more patriotic series, the Capital Mysteries. So I actually did not get a chance to read this out loud. My kids sat down and they read it themselves in like a couple hours, and they loved it. So we're going to go try to find the rest of this series there. See if I can stand you back up. There you go. So every day you do a read aloud. That's fantastic. I love read alouds. I love this way this is laid out. They're so beneficial to your family to read aloud to them. They get more vocabulary. They hear how the sentences are pronounced. They even explain a little bit in here the benefit of a read aloud every day, which is cool. So then you go on to the accompanying worksheets. Now every lesson has the accompanying. So we're in the language arts portion. I don't know if you saw that calendar. This is like the language arts portion. So here are the worksheets for this lesson. Ba-ba-ba. Ready to go. Words that we read out loud, a section that we read about the Liberty Bell, questions that they answer. We talk about compound words. We write out the Bible verse that's inscribed on the Statue of Liberty. And then as we work through this, I ask them questions. We talk about abolitionists, which is very cool because we're abolitionists. And so that term they were familiar with, and it was cool to see where that term originated. What else did we talk about? We took the Roman numerals that were on here. We learned about Roman numerals, and we learned how to break those down. Now, with this chapter, we read this Liberty Bell book because it went right along with it, and this was the story of how they saved the Liberty Bell. My boys took this story like it was the greatest thing in the world. So that was fun. So we did that. That is all the language arts part of this lesson, okay? So you can see we took that one day. So now the next day, we did the math portion, and everything's included. I mean, this was a blast, you guys. So, all the teacher stuff comes in full color or whatever. This, I think, was part of what you're supposed to do daily or whatever. So here's some examples of what my kids filled out. Fractions, just whatever, math facts. Okay? That was fun. We played War with flashcards. That lasted forever because that game never, ever ends. We went through, here's the language arts. So that wasn't even the language arts. That was just the calendar portion that I showed you before. Here's the language arts part. So you see, there's a lot of content. This is one lesson, and there's a lot of content. Well, you know what? You know what's going on? I'm mixing this up. Okay, so here's something I would also suggest. I would suggest that these come all in a packet bound, okay? Either, my computer keeps funny, either like a really thin spiral bound or maybe even a 3-hole punch, just to encourage people to put it into because as you can see, these get mixed up and I have papers everywhere and yeah. One thing I do appreciate though is I love that these are physical printouts that are mailed to you, okay? These aren't, I think you can get a PDF copy of these, but I hate printing stuff off the internet and getting PDF versions of something. I love the physical copies. I love that they're sent to me. This is a big plus, big plus. So language arts, they give you these cool things that have, different sounds. You have the entire alphabet in single letters, and then you have these. So we talked about, oh dear, I'm dropping all sorts of things. Ew, E-W, which makes sense, ooh, which was fun. My boys loved that. We alphabetized words. We did so many things. See, it even tells you how to do the worksheets. It gives you the answer key. Here's an art project. We did not do the art project because I'm not a big fan of art. But we still had fun. Okay, so that was lesson 1. So you can see that is an entire day of school. All your subjects, all inclusive. I mean, you learn so much and everything's super integrated. I've never fully done complete unit study like this before, and it was a blast. So now that you kind of get the gist of it, I'm going to really briefly go over these other couple lessons. Here's lesson 2. So we learned about the Liberty Bell. Here in lesson 2, same deal, same routine, language arts, social studies. But in this one, we learned about the American flag. Okay, all your questions, words to look up. We learned about syllables. We talked about root words. We talked about different definitions of words. That was fun. We dove a little bit into fractions in this section. Okay, finding the area of places. I have some examples of my own kids' sheets here. That was really fun. Here's some examples. We played a game where we wrote out Memorial Day and found out how many words we could play. Lots of games, lots of activities, lots of hands-on stuff, which was a little bit out of my comfort zone, but when I just bit the bullet and just did it, it was a blast. It was a lot of fun. Oh my gosh, there's so much. There's a game at the end of here, a 2-liter bottle game, kind of like soccer, but everything kind of goes together. You read I Pledge Allegiance book. Where are you? Is this you? This is you. And this book I really appreciated because my husband is an immigrant. I'm dropping syllables everywhere. My husband is an immigrant, and I was a little bit nervous at how this book was going to approach immigration to the United States. But this was probably the most respectful approach I've ever seen. The lady in here is immigrated from Mexico, and she's taking her citizenship test, and she's explaining how proud she is to be pledging her allegiance to America because America has provided a safe place for her and her family to live. So we had a lot of cool discussions, and we even got to talk about when my kid's dad did the same thing and took that oath and took that pledge, and watched the video of when he did that exact same thing. So that was cool. That was really cool for us as a family. So what we did now with lesson 2 is we did lesson 2 as part of our family night. So we pulled everything out for family night. We did it all together, which was a blast. Lesson 3, okay, real quick, more fractions. We played this really fun fraction game. It's like a board game where you flip a coin, and oh, that was fun. There's pictures coming up of that. We read, we did not find Arthur Meets the President. Our library doesn't carry it. Talked a lot about fractions. We did read America, the Patriotic Primer. Oh my gosh, I want to purchase this book. This book is so cool. Look at this book. I mean, you can do a whole stinking civics or social studies course just on this book. This book was amazing. It had quotes that we had been memorizing and talking about from our founding fathers. I mean, that book was amazing. Amazing. So some more examples. We learned about the bald eagle. Here's some more fun stuff we did. We did alphabetical order. We talked about contractions. That was challenging. I was shocked that my younger girl got the contractions more than my older kids, which was a surprise. So that was fun. We talked about rounding, which I found some of my kids struggled with this. Okay, so that was a lot of fun. I'm trying to think of what else we did in this lesson. I did notice an error on this. Number 4 on this page, the number line actually does not list the correct set of numbers. So, all the other ones do, but line number 4 does not. So that's something I thought I'd point out to the creators of this fantastic piece of work. And last but not least, lesson 4, which we just finished up today, was so fun. We talked about the Statue of Liberty this day, and we did a crossword puzzle. We made Play-Doh. We not only made Play-Doh and followed like the directions to make the Play-Doh, but then my husband sat and actually divided it with them and talked about fractions. He took on most of the math part for this and had a blast with it. There's tons of games. I mean, oh my gosh. Okay, example. Play tic-tac-toe with bean bags. Okay, play tic-tac-toe. Write 9 clues to the United States symbols on the front of index cards and write the symbols on the back. So you're supposed to read the clue and guess what it is. Okay, so kind of like that. Then you, but you incorporate it with the beanbag game. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, so things that I thought and how we used this. There's that. Here's the crossword puzzle. Okay, so overall, what did I think? I thought this was an absolute blast. I'm going to be honest with you, I was a little bit nervous when I received it because I'm not used to these types of things. They just seem not complete to me. They seem like they're lacking. I was so thoroughly impressed. I'm looking into, they also offer the full year all-inclusive curriculum, and I thought this was a brilliant thing that they put together. But one cool thing we did was my kids have composition books for every subject. So they have a social studies one, a language one, a math one, what else do they have? History, science. And so what we kind of do is anytime we explore something that goes with that chapter during the year, we use this as kind of our living workbook. So they have pictures. So what we did is we took their studies from this course and we cut them out and put them in our social studies composition book. And this I thought was a fantastic idea because the kids can add color and they'll have something they can look back over if you habitually do unit studies. So that's how we use this. Would I recommend this? Absolutely. I love this so much. I kind of want to go back and do it a second time. How would I use this? We used it as a supplement to our normal schooling, only because I was a little bit intimidated to use it as its own curriculum. But after having been through the whole thing, I would recommend abandoning school for a week and doing a unit study like this, and then going back to your regular old school. It really made the subjects that we've become redundant in alive. And all the studies that, because we love American history and we are a government-involved family, and so my kids are very well versed in these things. And so to be able to kind of pull everything we've learned together into this and focus on the different symbols, and then take a break from math and kind of like talk more about these ideas in a fun manner, this was an absolute blast. And I would trust this curriculum to touch all the topics and be thorough, and the whole unit study approach worked. It made sense. I did it with all my kids. My 2-year-old obviously did not understand majority of the content, but he loved these books. He loved the sound ew and making all the words. My 5-year-old enjoyed probably 50% of it. He enjoyed the book reading. He enjoyed the language arts projects or games or whatever, and any of the math activities he really liked. The worksheets he didn't get into. My oldest girls, so my girls are 8, 8, and 7, they loved all of it. I mean, they loved it. They looked forward to it. They're like, please, can we do that instead of regular school? So, Homeschool Complete, you did a rockin' awesome job. I was super impressed. This is made for 2nd grade or grades 1 to 3, and I think that's very accurate. Mine are in 4th grade and 3rd grade. And then my son is in 1st grade. So I picked the 2nd grade because I thought, well, I'll try it and mesh them all together. And it was spot on. It was fun. My 4th graders loved it. My 7-year-old, who's supposed to be in 3rd grade, loved it, or 2nd grade, or whatever she's supposed to be in. And then my 5-year-old, who's in 1st grade, loved most of it. It was a little bit under his age level, but I think if he were actually 1st grade age, this would be a great fit. 2nd grade is spot on. So that's how I recommend using it. That's how we used it, and that's what we think of it. So thank you, Homeschool Complete. Go ahead and click on the banner below in my website. Visit www.deputytribe.com, and you can click on the banner that's linking to our homeschool review page to read other reviews, because other people from my crew reviewed other unit studies, and some of them also reviewed the full year all-inclusive curriculum. So that would be really cool to check out and read if you're looking into Homeschool Complete. So thanks again. Read the disclaimer below, and make sure you subscribe. Hit like and subscribe below, and also subscribe to DeputyTribe.com to get our monthly newsletters. Thanks, guys. God bless.